Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your registered migration agent. Today I'd like to share with you on this video the SIV and PIV visas. Now what do they stand for? SIV stand for Significant Investor Visa, and PIV is Premium Investment Visa. Now these are the top of the range within Australian immigration visa categories. It obviously, as it sounds, it actually is the category to attract VIP investors into Australia. Now these two visas has one common criteria or conditions which a lot of investors love. It's the very minimal living requirements under this visa, which only requires a person who is the applicant stays in Australia only for 40 days in a year. So 40 days, it's basically a summer and a winter vacation or holidays, and that was it. So there's no, unlike all the other 188A or 188B, where it requires at least to stay and live in Australia at least half of the year. Basically, the law requires and make you to become a tax resident of Australia. But SIV and PIV would not have that sort of issues. So if you are a very successful business person, no matter where you are from, this may be the right category of visa for you. So today I would like to take more times to actually getting to the immigration website and going through the criteria and eligibilities and how it would work and how does it define what the funds requires to go into a certain investments. So let me take you into the actual immigration webpage right now. Okay, so the first one obviously is the significant investor stream. So it's under subclass 1AA, a business innovation and investment provisional visa. So as you can see, it's a provisional. It doesn't give you a permanent residency straight away, but you do enjoy a lot of rights as a permanent, like the permanent resident of Australia. Now, the significant investor stream requires you to actually put your investments into the fund for at least 4 years, and once that matures for 4 years, you are eligible to transfer into a permanent resident in Australia. Now, the eligibility, let's go through it first. You need to be nominated for sure, so you pick which state that you will seek to stay in the future. So some people like Gold Coast, some people like the beach, some people like Sydney, some people like the variety stuff that you can actually enjoy in Melbourne, and some people pick South Australia. So whichever you want, you need to go through that state government agency and get that applied. Now obviously, once that's done, there's a commitment to invest of $5 million. Now, how would that $5 million go? I have actual graph coming from Australia to actually give you a better idea. So again, this is, as what I said, it requires to be in there for at least 4 years. Now at least 500,000 into a venture capital fund, and 1.5 into an approved management fund, and then that goes into a emerging company listed in Australian Stock Exchange, and the remaining balance of $3 million go to management fund, which can be in any sort of investments, for example commercial properties and things like that. Okay, so that's the $5 million. Now, not having history of involvement in unacceptable activities, again, the applicant and the applicant's partner cannot have any, for instance, fraudulent work, previous record of filing bankruptcies and things like that, or having unlawful activity or business activities or dealings like money launderings, that would not be acceptable. Have functional English. Now, functional English is equivalent to IELTS 4.5. Now, a lot of these VIP businessmen won't even have time to actually take the test. So unless you will have a bachelor degree from a Western country like Australia, New Zealand, USA, UK, or Canada, or you require to demonstrate you have at least studied 5 years full-time in English. Otherwise, the other options is basically just pay for second installment. So primary applicant will be about $9,000 something, and the secondary applicant will pay about half of that, so 4.5 grand. Then obviously you need to pass all the health and character checks. And very importantly, at the bottom here, not have a visa cancelled or previous application refused. So you might not be eligible if you have had any visa cancelled or refused while you were in Australia. So if you had any visa cancellation or refused histories, obviously you are required to demonstrate that wasn't an issue that could affect the application here. Now, very importantly, source of fund, you also required to demonstrate that the fund is coming from lawfully acquired assets. So this it's already tax declared, tax paid. It's clean. It's not something that it's coming from. This is actually required to proof as under the international anti-money laundering law. So the money has to be lawfully acquired, and whatever the tax required on the country has already been paid off. So you claim it's actually personal income accumulated over the years, or as a gift from whoever. But every country have different law. Some country actually require a gift required to be declared and tax payable. Some country don't. So it's really depends on where you're coming from. Okay. Now the second one is the premium investor stream. Now the only differences between SIV and PIV is here. Obviously you got to be nominated and receive an invitation to apply. The only differences is here. It's rather than $5 million, you are required to actually making compliant premium investment at least $15 million. So obviously, if you get that much, it's a better option because you're not required to put such a fund into venture capital, such a fund into emerging companies. It can all be invested into one fund, which you could actually maximize the potential of returns. For instance, look at this, real property in Australia excluding residential property. But obviously $15 million you won't put in residential, you will be putting into commercial and earning from the leasing and rental returns. It will be very, very lucrative. So it's the only differences here. And also you're not required to have the fund mature after 4 years before you can actually lodge to become a permanent resident. Now, if you do if you're a PIV applicant, you're only required to have the fund invested in within 1 year. Now, once that 1 year mature, the investment might not even mature yet, but once you lapse that 12 months, you'll be eligible to lodge for a permanent residency. So you get permanent residence quicker, 3 years quicker than the SIV, and rest of other requirement is the same. Now, finally, I would like to take you to the actual graph showing how this will all work. So it's a very complicated graph where they have a lot of words in there. It's declared as the it's required under the investment scheme, otherwise it would trigger a lot of regulations and law. But easily to read this is if you look at the graph in the middle where that pie is, it obviously explains that the 500k, if you're a SIV, 500k needs to go to VCPE, so venture capital fund, okay, and the $1.5 million required to go to emerging companies here. Obviously, it gives you a lot of description and detail in here, but if you find the right fund management fund company, they will be able to manage all that together and professionally. You do not require to do it yourself. You can, but you do not require to do it yourself. If you need that sort of help, we can always facilitate. Now the balance obviously will be that $3 million will be right on the orange part here, so that can be generally you can put in the real property and things like that. So at the top left corner basically describes what SIV and PIV are. Now also the left bottom will be PIV, what is required. It's basically a duplicate of what we just talked about. So today's video, just to summarize, it's a very quick introduction and brief explanation of what SIV and PIVs are. Now if you are interested, more than happy, you can contact me, or if you do have any further comments or questions, feel free to leave the comment down below. I will be able to answer you in a timely manner. Finally, if you do like our video, hope you to go to our Facebook page and give us a thumbs up, and also on our YouTube channel, remember to subscribe so you can get more Australian visa insights, and obviously with the little bell at the side, if you tick it, once we have the newest information we'll publish, and you will get it at the first moment then. Anyway, today's video is all here. I shall see you in our next video. Thank you. Goodbye.